Dun, 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 Kilted
Boss.
I keep thinking about like pointing out to you that I'm about to go in, and I'm like, nope. He said, "Why change now?" So
No, I gotta watch, pay attention,
that's right. That's
and
right.
I have to pay attention and plan on the 4-second delay.
Right. Right. Both things have to be accounted for. That is smart. That's smart. Well, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Kilted Balls podcast. It kind of feels like almost like a 2-for-1 week, I assume, for you listeners, because we had that fantastic interview yesterday, which for me seems like forever ago, and then this one right after.
Mm-hmm.
But we, for our listeners' sake, if you didn't know this, we don't consider interviews part of our normal cycle. So,
Yeah.
We record on our Tuesday nights either way, and then the interviews or other fun things just happen whenever.
Although if you didn't listen and if you're new or a regular listener and it just was like something different and maybe you haven't caught interviews in the past, like really this interview was super awesome. It wasn't even an hour after we recorded, I listened to it and it was just like, it was really cool and really inspiring. Like some of the ideas and stuff was super awesome, I think.
Just the conversation like our group of friends has had alone, I'm like, oh my gosh, people, this is a good one to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And maybe even a good one to revisit. I don't know. Like, that was pretty
I do like the idea. I mean, I don't know how regular like random people could show up, but like if we added like just a different person, like I like that idea. It could be fun.
Oh yeah, like hey, so and so jump on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we have great chemistry, but I think that that can add.
Yeah.
Or maybe we do something different, like along with the interviews, like that could be a B episode.
Ooh, I like
where
it.
Where we talk, but then a different day, like whoever, like, hey, I want to hang, and I have something I want to talk about.
Yeah, well, and that's way back when we first started this. Like we talked about doing like almost a B-side on D&D, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I like that idea. I think we should focus on shorts first. We're horrible about doing shorts.
Yeah, our short game.
Our short game isn't that good. And for listeners who don't know us, that was true when we played Ultimate Frisbee in college. Yes, you are looking at two of the members of the Michigan State Ultimate Frisbee team, and our short game was atrocious. You go long.
Although at regionals, I did have a behind the back throw. Like if you're watching, so you're usually throwing out like this. It was a behind the back this way, 2 ball, and we scored. I don't remember if we won or lost that game, but that moment was great because I think the team we were playing was super good.
They were super good. Super good. And they weren't ready for that. Yeah, I saw some ultimate clips the other day. Like people dive, like all the way down the field to score, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, people are so good.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So, listeners, moral of the story: check out the freaking interview. There's lots of interviews on there. I think we have 5 or 6. We have a playlist dedicated to them. They're amazing. You should check them out because they're a good time.
Yep.
So, there was so much I wanted to talk about the other day, and I didn't want to interrupt any of our stuff.
And you forgot?
And now I think I forgot almost all of it. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But we are going on a trip. So Kilted and I are heading up to the state of Washington. Somebody, I forget who it was, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm going hiking that week. And they're like, oh yeah, you're going to D.C. I'm like, you don't hike in D.C. Like, I get you get a lot of steps in.
You can walk a lot, yeah.
You get a lot of walking in. I don't know if it's hiking, but no, we are going to Washington. Hiking. We're going to Mount Adams, which is a active volcano, but not a volcano.
That's what it said. I was like, I don't know what this other word was or what it meant, and it didn't bother to look it up. But yeah, it was. It definitely said active or semi-active something volcano.
Yes, and I had a really tragic realization as we're
Oh
planning for the
no.
trips and getting ready, and it made me
Huh.
super sad. And so, listeners, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but while we were talking about going on the trip, Kilt had said people around him were worried about bears. And I kind of laughed because I never worry about bears, even when I'm in bear
Mm-hmm.
country, which is dumb. I probably should worry about bears. I always have my bear bells or whatever. But then our host responded with, "Oh, no, no. You probably don't have to worry about bears, but you got to worry about cougars all the time." And I was like, I stopped worrying about cougars like years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's
Years
what I
ago.
was thinking.
Right?
Like, yeah, I mean, cougars. Like I said, they had to be like 60 or 70
They'd
now.
have to be 60 or 70. And I don't know where in my career it all of a sudden switched to where I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in cougars anymore. But sometime, unbeknownst to me, that happened. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that is the defining characteristic of being old. Like, you're like, yeah, not really into people who are 10 years older than me anymore.
I mean, Betty White was always on my list. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, but she's special,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
She's special. Like, who
Yeah,
are
that's
some
funny.
famous actresses when we were growing up? Like, what are they like now?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to. That's like none of that stuff's on my radar.
No,
I mean, I might
me
see a
neither.
movie with someone in it and be like, "Oh, that's so and so," but yeah.
Right? Like, that's not even something I think about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the closest would have been okay. So maybe I'm still into cougars because last VCon we went to, and Jessica Alba was there, and I think she's older than
Mm-hmm.
us, right?
Yeah, I think she's a little bit older than us. I don't think she's that much older though.
All right. So
I'd be
way to ruin my
surprised. I'd be
dreams.
surprised. I'd say at most 5 years. If it was 10, I'd be really surprised.
What's it take to be a cougar?
I don't know.
Listeners, what does it take to be a cougar?
Yeah, how many years older?
Because apparently we have to worry about those on our hike. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, we got to keep an eye out for the cougars.
Yep. Although, I mean, I'm super excited. Until the other day, Miles hadn't mentioned much about swimming, but now he's like super excited about swimming. And for me, hiking and swimming don't necessarily go hand in hand. So I hope he still has a great time if there's not a place to swim. But he seemed a little upset in like some messages we're sending back and forth to each
Aren't
other.
we going to the beach?
One day we are going to the beach.
I'm pretty sure we'll swim when we're on the beach.
But I think he was thinking because it was originally going to be at Twin Lakes, which if I can't remember if we talked about it before, but if you listen to a few episodes back, we're talking about it, and it is actively the lakes are still frozen over. So that's why we're going to Mount Adams now because we were where we were going to go is still covered in snow and the lakes are still frozen over.
Right.
So we decided not to do that.
Nope, it makes sense. So if you haven't listened to the interview, people, we talked about Lysne's new book, Instigators.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're totally like going all over the place today, but I thought it was really interesting in the interview that it like could you feel the universe pushing her into that? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like she's like talking, I'm like that's amazing. Like you were pushed into your area where it had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea of not looking at outcomes, like looking at processes, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I love that. Like, I mean, you saw the smirk on my face as soon as she started talking about it. You pointed out, like, it was really, and it was cool. Like you had said, like she's super awesome and she's one of our people. But especially like right at the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, this is.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
This is great. And I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, she's definitely.
But listen to that interview, and you can hear some of our messages that we've talked about, which is true about most of our interviews, right? But you can hear those resonating. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And
yeah,
I bring that up because I think like we were pushed into this. Maybe not we, but like even me, like pushed into this hiking thing. And I was thinking about how much I love hiking, and I haven't done it forever. And this was kind of like a thing that was brought up, and then it was like, how could I not go to this? And I felt like I was pushing. Then, like I was talking to you earlier, like I kind of want to bring my laptop and my paper and pencil, because I'm like, I have a feeling like some amazing things are going to happen that I'm going to want to like document that are going to be super cool.
Yeah, I was going to bring my journal, but I'm actually bringing a different book to write in, and a line book to write in. That's separate from the journal, because I definitely agree. Like these are things are going to be happening that I'm going to want to put down, and I'm super excited about it.
Yes, I think so. I'm super excited about it. Spending that quantity of time with Miles is going to be great. My wife was like, should I warn him that he might get like a dick on the shoulder or something? And I'm like, no.
I'm sure he would remember.
I'm sure he's expecting that. Like, you know.
Yeah, and our buddy, he's going all out with the food, and we talked about the food, but he's smoking some stuff to bring with us, and I guess he's got his little comb, because we have a base camp basically, and then we're doing day hikes, which is going to be awesome. We're not carrying around hundreds of pounds on our back. I wouldn't really be excited about that, but the day hikes, like, that's super awesome.
I told Amy, like, Miles is bringing all of these like veggies and stuff, and she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I go, he is.
Yeah, he's got peppers from his garden. They look awesome.
I'm like, it feels like we're winter camping, only without the winter. So, which I'm down for that. And I was, because we had planned originally on Twin Lakes, I was planning on all of this like sweatshirts and long pants, and then I'm like, wait a second, the temperature is going to be normal. Like, it's Michigan temperatures. I'm like, oh, I can just wear shorts the whole time. So, yay.
I'm not doing that. I made sure to bring a mix of stuff to make sure I stay warm, and then some shorts too.
I'm bringing a sweatshirt.
I'm kind of concerned. It's 90 in Portland. It's going to be 90 in Portland tomorrow.
Yes.
And I freeze when I travel, so I'm wearing pants and long sleeve shirt traveling.
I am wearing pants as well.
I can change.
Yep, I'm wearing pants as well because airplanes are not warm.
No.
So I'm like, I'm wearing pants. I don't care. I can regulate my temperature well enough that I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I'm super excited. Anything else exciting happened for you? Like, besides the interview was super awesome, obviously.
Yeah,
but
that was like the
over
highlight.
the weekend or anything. Do you have any?
It's hard to remember. I've been doing a lot of door knocking. Cal's been like my campaign manager, which is hilarious.
That's awesome.
Like today, somebody wanted to meet with me to like just talk about things and see how like serious and real I was. And like 2:30 came around and Cal's like, "Hey, we got doors to knock on."
That's awesome.
I'm like, he kind of is a slave driver. And then I talked for like another half hour, but it's good. And that's like super awesome, like talking with people. It's still, like I've said before, still like not a thing that I enjoy doing, right? Like I feel weird. But every interaction's been good. Every interaction's positive. And I compared it. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and I said, listen, it's like working out. Like, I never want to work out. Like, I'm never like, yeah, let's go work out. Like, that's not who I am. I go, but I always feel so good after I've worked out. Right?
Yeah.
I go, it always feels so good. And I go, and this is similar. Like, I've never not finished, like, doing a neighborhood or something and not felt fantastic after doing it, right? It's been, feels good every time.
That's awesome.
But it's like, it's not something that I would like choose to do. Like, I'm not going to wash your neighbors if I have to.
It's like Gina and I, we've been doing like 45-minute yoga classes, and I love the stretching aspect of yoga. I love I have a hard time breathing when I'm doing stuff like that, so it's very good. I have to be very mindful. I have to be very in the spot. But it's just like it's not, it hurts, like my whole body's shaking, like all that stuff, especially while you're getting into shape. Yes. But it feels so good when you're done, and both of us, we've just been feeling awesome. And it's just been a couple weeks now, and she's like, I can already tell that you've been doing this. So I think she's just flirting, but
She's
I'll
probably
take it.
just flirting. She's just being nice.
My belly doesn't look as big.
I know Amy keeps saying my belly looks big, and I'm like, oh, that's sad. Oh, I'm like, you're gonna hurt my feelings.
That's funny. Yeah, we had a busy weekend because today is actually Morgan's 5th birthday. So
Yes.
happy birthday, Morgie!
Happy birthday, Morgan!
So all weekend we've been celebrating it. So we had a party and this and that. So yeah, it's been a good time for us. We've been crazy busy and just yeah.
And you got a new VR headset, right?
Yes. I didn't talk about that last week?
No,
I
you
got
did not.
I got the MetaQuest 3.
Nice. And so far good.
Yeah, so far it's really cool. I mean, yes, it's Facebook, so I just put in my information in there, and the kids do like to play it, and it does have like some cool workout programs that for Gina and myself as well. Just something different to do. They tend to be like a boxing, moving around sort of stuff, which we've been talking about those for a while, and I was concerned with the kids because the age rating for the kids was higher. I think it was 14 when we first started looking.
Oh wow!
But they've brought it down, and it was like after doing some more in-depth checking on it, it was more because of the apps and because of like going in the forums and this and that. Like it's all, it's kind of like the Roblox or whatever. Like if they're chatting with somebody and you're not paying attention, they could be chatting or talking because it's in the VR. You're not typing anything. They could be talking with anybody. Right. So but it's 10 now is where they brought the age down to, and of course we're there anyways and we're watching, but and then they're like, well, we don't really know how it's going to affect them having VR like until they're like 60. Then we'll have an idea if it's messed with their brains or not, like as far as children are concerned. So I'm like, well,
yeah,
I think as far as stuff they'll experience between now and when they're 60 is going to be insane to anything that we can think of. So,
well, they won't be able to.
They're going to be fine.
They won't be able to tell what happened until they're 60. Definitively, that doesn't mean the stuff didn't already happen the whole way through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I tease some of my students about like drinking. I'm like, drinking when you're this young causes depression. Like your brain's not ready for that. I go, you won't even notice that until you're like 30, and you're like having to take pills to heal your depression, and you're not going to realize that's because you were getting lit every day when you were 16 and 17, and now you're like effed for life, and you'll probably blame something else. But I'm telling
that's
you
what
right
people
now,
like to do.
This is what it is. You're drinking right now, and you're cashing that in. So, yay for all your anxiety you're going to feel later.
Yeah, that happens. That's a thing for sure.
Oh yeah. People don't recognize that, right?
Well, and then you don't want to have any you don't want to hold yourself up to anything where it's like, oh, I made this mistake and I own this and
no.
So which is something we were talking about yesterday as well. Just
people.
You got to take charge of your own life.
People do not like that. They do not like taking charge, right? My girls will say that often. Like, I just want you to make these decisions for me. I'm like, nope, nope.
Yeah.
I go, I'm not taking that responsibility. These are your decisions. Oh, you were talking about Facebook, talking about some bullshit. So I went to do some political ads because I'm running for political office on my Facebook. And they don't say this, but it is. They do a KYC, a know your customer. So they don't call it KYC, but they're like, we have to verify that you're a real person. So upload your driver's license. Okay, uploaded my driver's license. Okay, give us your phone number. Make sure it's verified. Yep, it's verified. Okay, give us your address. Okay, it was on my driver's license. There you go. Okay, we're going to mail you a code through snail mail. Enter that code so that we know you actually live in the house you were in. So today I got that code. I go and I enter it in. And it's like, okay, thanks. Now you have to answer these 3 questions. And it was, what's the number of your property on Sunnymead? And it was like multiple choice. And I'm like, click.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, when did you buy a Dodge Dart? And I'm like, click. And it's like, what city is North Fairview in? Like the property I have in North Fairview.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Click. And it's like, nope, try again.
You're like, that's a big area in case if you didn't know. Like that city, like as far as square miles are concerned, is giant.
Yeah, but so then I answer all 3 questions again. Nope. 3 questions again.
Oh my
nope.
gosh.
And then it says, okay, you're logged out. You have to get a notary to sign this affidavit that you are who you say you are and upload it. I'm like, why the hell didn't you give that to me first rather than make me wait for snail mail? It took like a week for the snail mail to get here. I'm like, I was planning on running ads a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're like pushing me out. And now we're going on a trip. I'm like, when am I going to go see a notary to notarize that I am who I say I am? I'm like, this is the worst know your customer I've ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, just bring it with you. Surely there'll be somebody somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Then you snail mail it from Washington.
No, you're supposed to upload it. Because I was like, if I have to mail this, I'm just out. Like, I'm trying to give you money, and you won't take my money for my own campaign.
That's hilarious.
That was some... Like, on the other hand, I'm like, okay, how are people infiltrating Facebook as bots and everything else for these political ads? And they had told me, like, one of my campaign people, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to do this. It's kind of like, this was like a week ago. I was like, kind of a pain in the ass. And they're like, oh, you should have just called so-and-so. They have people that'll do that all for you. I'm like, so there's people out there who will just do all of this. But if you try to do it for yourself, no.
Yeah.
So,
that's how they do it.
Right? That's how they do it. It's just weird. So yeah, so I thought that was some bullshit.
Yeah, I would have been slightly irritated.
I was so irritated tonight when I did that. I'm like, this makes me so grumpy. So grumpy.
Yeah, so I imagine we'll have some shorts this week when we actually have service, and then I think next week's episode will be pretty amazing too.
I think we're gonna have some pictures for our listeners or viewers, and put that out and show them. Ooh, I made a trade today, just as an aside.
Awesome.
You know, I was waiting to sell XRP until it got to 60. And I've been kind of like waiting. And it got up to like 58 or 59. And I'm like, okay, this is going great. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put a stop loss in. Like, 3% or 4% lower. Just in case it drops again. So at least I'm staying well into the green. And so it hit my stop. So I made 14%. Now, since then, it jumped back up.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm tired of... I've had that for like 90 days.
Okay.
So it's the only one that was in the green.
When ETH was a little bit under 31, I was like, is it going to go down to 3,000? Like, should I wait? Should I open some stuff? And I was going to open it, then I got sidetracked, and it's 35 now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, that's how it goes. And most of my stuff is red, but I'm like, that one's green, and it's at like 14, 15%. I'm like, if it closes, it closes, and I'm okay with making my 15% and just moving on and trying to catch the next ride because I'm tired of sitting here. I don't think I've done a trade in a month and a half. So. Yeah,
me neither. And I actually hadn't looked at my bots in forever, and I looked at them just recently, and I mean they're red, but they're close to being green, or even at least. So that's good.
Yeah, things are moving. And now XRP will double or triple, and I'll feel like an idiot. And that's okay too.
Yep.
I don't mind. I don't mind. So yeah. So we have a vision here of a store, and we've talked on here about books and bourbon that we wanted to do that. When we were camping on the west side of the state, we went into this place, and I want to say it was called like Coffee Nook or Nooks and Books or something like that.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and it's a coffee store, and they have a bar, and they have a stage, and it's a bookstore.
That's awesome.
It was super cool, and I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, this is our idea. This is kind of our idea. And like one of the times I was there, like they had a piano guy playing the piano. The room was full of old ladies sipping coffee, right? And I was like, this is kind of what the jam was that I was thinking, right? Have coffee in the morning, have a bar going at night, with mainly just whiskey, right? And like a bookstore / game store where you can play games and do stuff. Like Cal and I, they had like an infinity board, which is like a digital board that has all your classic board games, and Cal and I were playing that like a ton.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that was actually one of my visions for the church. Like, hey, we could do this. We could, like, in my idea was the living space in one area, like the bedrooms and kitchen and dining room, and then like your hangout area, workout room, blah blah blah, all that stuff in the church. But I was like, we could have it where it's like, almost like what we had talked about before, where the men hang out, like you have games in there, and people can just come and hang out. And I was like, Gina, we could have like, we watch all the Man City games here, so come in, watch the Man City games with us, blah blah blah. But we're not going to get the church.
No, it's so sad. Did you just make that thumbs up?
I thought you made the thumbs up.
No, I totally
unless my hand hit something.
I was like, you just made a thumbs up. That's amazing. So
nope.
I did not make the thumbs up. I only use things like sounds, like
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
I don't do a thumbs up. So you must have hit something, because I don't think anybody else is with us. So, man, cool. So this has been like an all-over rambling episode today.
This has been fun.
It's been good. I'm gonna have no idea, people, what we should call this episode. So whatever you see the title, I'm sure it'll be inspired by Kilted and be amazing.
I already have some ideas.
Right now I don't. But next episode, man, we're gonna get to talk about that trip and hanging out. I don't know if you can tell, people are kind of excited. Oh, you know what I tried to convince Amy of? It must have been Sunday or something. It was Sunday right after church. I was like, hey, you know how Jared's like going on that cruise and stuff? And she's like, yeah. I go, we could go to Los Angeles.
I have tickets.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure he has tickets. We could like go there. And she's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm always so busy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, I've said from the beginning, you would probably get more out of VCon than I would, because you're so into business and all of these business leaders are there talking. I go, I think you would get a ton out of it. I go, I'm just throwing it out there that you should think about it. I go, because it was already kind of on the calendar. So I could look at tickets and get us tickets, and, we could have like a little working vacation for you and I.
Or come on the big boat with us.
The big boat is in the wrong times.
Darn it.
So, yeah. Like that one, like hits all sorts
a weekend is easier than getting away for a full week of just boat time.
Yes. Plus the plane to get there, and
yeah. Next time.
Like, we would probably do a cruise. We hear good things about cruises. But it's harder for people up here to do cruises than it is for people
I
down
agree.
there.
And that's what I tell Jason. I'm like, it's harder for people in North Carolina than for people in Florida that live an hour away.
Yes. Right? Like, you get to just drive an hour. Like, for me, I've got to drive an hour to get on the plane to come down there and drive an hour.
Yeah, I've got 7.5 hour drive, so.
Yeah, see, that seems not great. It'll be great once you're on the cruise.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that makes it harder, because then you're adding in all of that time. So all of a sudden your 4, 5, 6, 7 night cruise becomes an extra 2 on each end.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that makes it harder. So, all right, I think we're going to wrap this up, because I need to finish packing. I know Kilted is probably set, ready to go.
I have to wake up in 5.5 hours, though.
I was just going to ask you when you're leaving.
Yeah, I'm waking up at 3. I can run through the shower and stuff and get to the airport and be there 2 hours early.
Okay.
Especially in the morning, just to be safe.
I have a dentist appointment at 3. I called them today because I'm like, my thing shows that my dentist appointment's at 4. And they're like, yep, thanks for confirming. I'm like, nope. I go switch it with somebody else from my family. Because what we do is we basically take over the dentist's office for like 2 hours. I'm like, switch me with somebody else. And they're like, okay, we'll do that. I'm like, thanks, because I'm not going to...
You're like, I need to be out of there.
Yeah, I'm like, if I leave at 4 and don't get caught in traffic, I should be to the airport at 5:30 for a 7 o'clock flight.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I'm already pushing it about to the limit. So,
yeah.
You know. But anyway, listeners,
yes.
think good thoughts about us. We're going to be having a great time and hopefully staying safe. I'm a little worried because I get crazy on mountains. But hopefully, in my old age, I'll be much more chill. And hopefully you got a chance to listen to the interview and that you loved it all. Give us some comments. Check out the book. Give us some love in the social verse. And we'll be checking you out sometime later. This is Kilted Balls. Seeing you later.
Kilted Jack and Jerry. Love you all.